The squirrel was magic!
Hello. This is AniManKia, and we are unprepared. But we're good now. Before we get started, as usual, we're going to show off our little figure thingy-majigs we brought, and this time we only brought one because I am still terrible. And I keep not bringing things.
Yes, you do.
And next time I will bring things just to not be terrible.
You said that last 2 times.
Andrew got me a figure recently, so I have no excuse now, and I do have a couple other ones I haven't brought, so... But Andrew brought a really cool figure to compensate for the fact that I suck. So, Andrew, show off your really cool, not sucky figure, and tell them how it was made.
Well, I don't really know how it was made, because I didn't make it.
Yes, you do.
I know how it was made for that, but I don't know exactly all the details.
Oh, fair.
But it's somebody, like, apparently these are getting very well used a lot lately. This is a fight scene between Ash's Special Greninja and his opponent at the time has a Mega Charizard X, and all this fight, but this was done with a 3D printer.
AKA Charizard, but actually a dragon.
In this form.
Dun, dun. That's what I said. Charizard, but actually a dragon.
Oh. Yeah.
Because Charizard's not a dragon.
Yeah, which
some reason.
we don't understand why.
The world may never know. It's more confusing than how many licks it takes to get to the center of a Tootsie Pop.
Oh, God. But yeah, and I know there's not much to explain about this, but just a very cool figure, very well done.
The fire kind of looks like water.
It does, but yeah, if remember in the show, he's got very energetic blue fire.
Also, what's up with the rock looking things in the fire, like these?
They actually are rocks.
Oh, so he's just like destroying the environment.
Yes.
Ah, but they needed somewhere to put the rocks, so they just kind of fused it with the fire water.
To make it look like that it's being absorbed in as Greninja's plowing through it with his water shuriken ninja grenade. Or whatever, you know what
blade.
I mean.
Grenade blade.
Yeah, grenade blade.
Dude, if grenade blades were a real thing, war would cease.
Yes.
Because suicide. You can't grenade blade
But yeah,
people.
that's all I brought, mostly just because it's very fragile, and I did not want to risk breaking it with mixing it with anything else. So that's all I brought today.
Okay, are we leaving it on the table? Should
Yeah,
we?
why not?
I'm just making sure it's not obscuring your face or anything.
I don't see how I could. Last week's with the compy, I could understand,
Yeah.
but this time, no.
I thought people might want to see your beard.
They can see the beard.
Okay.
I can see from Andrew's screen there that I can fully see that my face is like a good 6 inches above this thing.
You know, now that I think about it, last week we should have left the comfy, so like the only thing they could see is your hair. We know who the other guy is because he's just literally hair.
Anyway.
That's the running joke on our friend circle, just Andrew's beautiful hair. It's pretty great. But anyway, speaking of jokes, today's all about the lulz. Because we're talking about comedy anime, and you know that already because you've probably seen the title, which I assume is somewhere on this video. So, yeah. We've talked about comedy anime before, but now we're actually going to go into, like, a little bit of depth in the comedy genre. And also, we're going to just recommend several of our favorite comedy anime. It's of note that Andrew watches more comedy anime than I do, so he may very well have more shows to talk about than I do.
Which I'm actually very surprised at that. I would have thought that you would have liked the comedy animes too.
Well, no, I do.
Oh, I would have thought you would have.
I'm just saying you've seen more.
Oh.
I mean, if you've ever seen our first podcast, this goes back because we explained our anime origins because we're anime characters back in our first podcast, and we told you back then that I got started in the normal way that everyone gets started, where it's like you're a kid and you're like, oh my god, Toonami exists, and then you also see the Fox Box stuff and you like slowly grow up with it. Andrew started as like, I like Pokemon and Yu-Gi-Oh, yeah, and then like he's like, I'm into American things, and then when he got like 18, he's like, you know, that anime stuff I watched as a kid's pretty cool, and now he's obsessed. But when he got back into it, with comedy anime. I had been into action anime forever.
Well, it just happened that the first one I got back into was a comedy anime because it was recommended from a friend of ours. But actually, you got me into it first with Naruto. I just branched off when Eugene recommended the other one.
Yeah, which was
My Bride is a Mermaid.
So.
Which that is full comedic.
Yeah. Oh yeah. For sure. Even though I haven't seen it, I know if the show's called My Bride is a Mermaid, I would think that would be full comedic.
Well, it's. I guess we'll just jump right in, shit.
Well, well, actually, let me start talking about a little bit about like comedic aspects of anime in general before we jump into like our recommendations and specific series talk.
Oh.
Just to have like a slight amount of structure, even though it's gonna devolve at some point anyway, like it always does.
Like we kind of are now?
Yeah, like we are now. but just so we don't have to like go back into a general topic after talking about a specific series and make it all weird.
Good point, okay.
Yeah. So what I was gonna bring up originally, just like about comical anime overall, or comedy and anime overall, I should say, is that comedy is obviously subjective. It's one of the most subjective things in the whole world. No two people have the exact same sense of humor. I mean, I'm sure some people do, but generally, people have a pretty different sense of humor.
Like our group, we all have a very.
We're all like 10-year-olds inside, and we laugh at everything, which is why we like anime humor. But no, that's the thing. A lot of people don't give anime a chance because of the humor,
and because it's also a cartoon.
Well, and it's a cartoon. But like, if it was a cartoon that had no humor and was like full blown serious, like people advertise anime as being, then they might give it more of a chance, which is why a lot of people like starring shows like Cowboy Bebop and stuff like that, which do have comedy, but it's kind of like just every once in a while.
Yeah.
But just like the reason I think comedy is so jarring to new anime watchers is because of like the chibi factor and stuff. Like some people just don't like, because I know several people like this personally, just don't like chibi shit in their anime. Like, why'd the characters suddenly get big-headed and have a small body and have a really over-exaggerate... Like, that's one of anime's most consistent comedic features is over-exaggeration. Just like, people will yell and scream and freak out about simple things. And
their mouths will take up their entire heads when they're yelling and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, and a lot of people are just kind of like turned off by that. They're like, this is like a kiddie show. Maybe they'll give it a chance even though it's a cartoon, but then they'll kind of backpedal because it's like, these characters are all acting all cartoony and I don't like it. And then another thing is like, just comedy anime kind of has a stigma of, if it's mostly a comedy anime, there's no plot. Like, it's just jokes, which isn't always the case. Sometimes it is. Sometimes there's shows that are just 100% no plot. And like most anime fans started, like I said earlier, when they were younger with like the action shows, so they don't want to branch out into other genres at all, let alone comedy, which is gonna have very little action, which they got into anime for.
Yeah.
So that's why like comedy anime seems to not be as prevalent. But then I think people, once they watch some action anime and stuff, they'll branch out into things like romantic comedy or something, because that's like another huge one. That's like
slice of life
like romantic comedy. That's like a big genre in anime that everyone will eventually see, and ecchi, if they're perverted, they'll eventually see some.
Which actually all of those have comedy in them too.
Yeah,
and it makes it funny because then it goes back into yandere and tsundere.
Yeah,
which also brings up a lot of comedic roles.
Exactly. And also like to just talk about anime comedy in general, there's usually like a few shared similarities. There's this comedy style in Western comedy too, but in Japanese it's known as tsukami and boke. Have you heard those terms?
I feel like I have, but I've mostly heard of baka.
Baka just means idiot, but yeah. But like tsukami is, I hope I'm not getting this wrong, but I think tsukami, I got it, is basically like the idiot, and boke is the straight man. It's like, you know, the idiot and straight man routine?
Yeah.
Well, in Japanese, it's called Tsukame and Boke. And almost every comedy anime or anime that has comedy employs the Tsukame Boke system. It's always, there's an idiot in the group, and there's always the serious person in the group who just calls them out on all the stupid shit they say. And like some people don't really like the straight man idiot routine, but I think it's pretty funny. And another kind another kind of comedy that is often in anime is just complete and utter randomness. So I guess some people don't like no. That's where like the no plot kind of thingamajig comes in.
Like Nichijou?
Like Nichijou.
You haven't even seen Nichijou yet, have you?
I've seen enough of Nichijou to know what Nichijou is like. And I want to see more of Nichijou. Oh yeah, and then final thing before we get into just like more specific talks. Another reason some people might be turned off of comedy in anime is because of like the jarring tone shifts. I was talking to Andrew about it earlier, but like Hellsing is a good example in my opinion, where the scene that comes to mind is Alucard and what's his name, the main villain?
Alexander Anderson.
Yeah, they're about to fight in this hallway. They start running at each other, and suddenly, and it's like super hype, and you've been wanting to see these characters fight because they're like the two strong, badass characters. Is there people talking on there?
Yeah.
Oh, what they said?
Too small for you to read?
No, we can see him.
It's too small for me to read because I'm blind.
Do I need to put it on the other side?
Looks like this is Corey. It's like, it's great how modest Mark is about the vast expanse of anime knowledge.
I am very modest. Let me tell you, I like to shove it down everyone's throat that I am very knowledgeable about anime. Yes.
That's not really being very modest, though.
No, it was an ironic post.
Yeah, I know.
He was ironically saying that I was
I
being
know.
modest. Sarcasm!
I'm just emphasizing it.
Yeah, fair enough. But, God, where was it? Yeah. So, they're about to fight, and old people. Wasn't it?
Led by Saris.
Yeah. There was just, like, as soon as they went to go fight each other, and I don't think Hellsing's that funny anyway. They're running at each other, and then, I don't even know if it's chibi, but, like, Hellsing style of chibis.
They weren't. It wasn't chibi. They weren't even actually running at each other either. They were just squaring off. He had his bayonets. He had his guns, and they were going to fight obviously, but I don't think that Integra would have wanted at least him, Alucard, to fight. Mm-hmm. And Saris knew that, so she was just trying to break it up because they were in public, in a museum, surrounded by millions of dollars worth of stuff, and both of them knew that at least Alucard in general would destroy the whole damn building. Mm-hmm. So that was mostly just of a incentive to try to get them to back off. Yeah, it worked.
So she let all the old people in there?
Yeah. She was acting as a tour guide.
Oh, okay. So, yeah, it was an intentional thing. But...
Yeah. So, see, you didn't even realize why it was funnier. You just thought it was just weird that just a bunch of random people came walking in.
Subjective humor. But what I'm saying is it did, like, postpone the fight.
Yeah.
And some people who were just like, yes, I want action. Because, like I said, I think anime is most well known for being action. Like, because, the most popular anime out there are action anime, like Dragon Ball and Naruto and Bleach and One Piece.
But your example may be a kind of a bad one, too, though, because Hellsing is like 99% action and 1% comedy.
True, but I'm talking about, like, bad tone shifts in anime.
Oh, okay.
I think Hellsing's tone shifts, because it's 99% action, could use a little bit of work. Because, like, I'm fine if Hellsing... Like, basically, the post-content in Hellsing, the post-credit content where they, like, have the really stupid drawings, like, they go up into heaven and it's, like, complete randomness. Fine. Those are actually kind of funny.
Yeah.
I just think, like, the Hellsing writer doesn't do a very good job at injecting comedy into the series proper because he always does it at an awkward time, or he's not just like in the series his jokes aren't that funny to me, subjective, but like in the post-credit stuff for some reason it's funny. Like I don't know, like I just don't think Hellsing does a good job at separating the two, which I think might turn certain people off.
Manga does a much better job of it, though.
Does it?
Yeah. I mean, I haven't read all of it yet. I've read up to just about the time where Alucard's going to go deal with Rip Van Winkle. So
she's a psycho bitch.
She is. But from what I've seen, that scene that you're describing, it is in the manga too. Mm-hmm. But I just feel like it's actually done a little bit.
We got another message.
A little bit better. What do we got here? Oh, it's another from Corey again. If you could find any higher witches currently all over the tree. Yes!
What did he say?
He's quoting from Helsing Abridged. After he shoots Saris, he's just like, if you look into your heart, which is currently all over that tree, you'll find a way to forgive me.
You know what we should talk about?
Helsing Abridged.
We should talk about abridged anime real fast. Because it's not actually official anime. And on that note, too, and there's another thing I want to bring up. We'll get to actual specific anime soon.
We're all over the place.
But we would have been more all over the place if we didn't back it up a little bit.
Yeah.
But
thanks for putting us on this tangent, Corey.
no, this is good. Thank you, Corey. I was actually thinking about this anyway, and I forgot about it.
I kind of was too, but I didn't know how we tie it in.
But here's how we're gonna tie it in. I got
all right then.
I'm the transition master.
Sure.
So how we're gonna transition into a bridge series talk, which our fan made, is we're gonna do it with ghost stories.
Oh yeah.
Ghost stories, because we're gonna transition from normal anime into bullshit fan anime, because the official dub of Ghost Stories is an abridged series. So I think we've talked about it. I don't want to go into like heavy detail because I think I've brought up Ghost Stories before.
Actually, no, we've never brought up Ghost Stories.
Okay.
Not in doing this anyway.
Andrew says we have not brought up Ghost Stories. So if we have brought up Ghost Stories prior to this, I want you to blame Andrew.
Everybody always does, so I'll take the blame.
What's it say?
My pleasure.
Thank you, Corey.
Thank you, Corey.
So Ghost Stories was an anime in Japan that was
no.
Yeah, well, there's some that get made otherwise. But
yeah, we know.
But anyway, it was an anime in Japan that was horrendous. It was so bad. It was about these students who so bad. It was about these students in the school, and they had a haunted school and all kinds of haunted adventures, and they went to go find ghosts and expel them and stuff. But it was generic. Beyond generic. And all the characters were lame, and no one liked it. So basically, it didn't sell for shit in Japan. It didn't sell at all. Nope. And the company told the English studio. Thank you, Andrew. That they can do whatever they want to make Ghost Stories sell, as long as they keep the character names and how the spirits are exorcised. And outside of those two specifics, character names and how the spirits are exorcised, they can do anything. And so they bullshitted hard. They made one girl into, like, the glasses girl in the team into, like, an evangelical Christian maniac who's just like, have you saved yourself? Are you good with Lord Jesus Christ?
Which, actually, you showed me the scene from that, and I don't know if you even remember it, but it's ironically enough, it's Monica Rial.
Of course. But and then there's like this little kid character who's like, I think the main character's little brother, and he was like really annoying in the main one, but in the English dub, he just goes, like all of his lines are just,
yeah.
It's so funny and so dumb, and there's like sex jokes, and it's vulgar, and it was like a kid's anime in Japan. And so basically, one of the first abridged series, if not the first, was official.
Yeah.
It was made by an actual, I don't know who licensed it. I'll have to look into that. But they did a good job, and I've actually went and checked it out. And the anime has become so popular, dubbed, that the Japanese got the dub version subtitled so they could watch the English dub of Ghost Stories when it originally didn't even sell in Japan.
We inspired something from that was Japan created, and we took it over, and now they got it from us.
Yeah, like the second best claim to fame we have with that is Ruby, where it's like Ruby has got a Japanese dub now. But still, like, that is hilarious how that worked out. But yeah, using that to go into a bridge series, just basically fan-made projects online that take
non-profits, just all that. Just
non-profits. Every time you see one of these, you'll get the message, please support the official release.
Yeah.
Because the copyright is a bitch,
right.
And they will get their shit taken down if they don't do everything they can to ensure that it's
non-profit, just for fun. Please support the official.
Yeah, but a bridge series generally like speed up the anime really fast and just take the key moments and then dub it over with hilarious songs and lines and make the characters act completely differently or just exaggerate the characters. The first big one was Yu-Gi-Oh! Abridged. And he is still making videos. He's still
Little Karibo.
Little Karibo. He is amazing.
He is amazing. They're currently up to episode 78, which is in season 4 still.
Yeah.
So they still have the rest of season 4, and season 5, which is going to be about another 100 or so episodes. So he's still got a ways to go, but I can wait.
Yeah, but so like every serious anime that ever existed has probably gotten abridged now, and they're usually pretty great.
Not every, like, not the ones I would like to see, but the one that is...
Dragon Ball Abridged is a huge one. Team 4
One of another one that is being done so very well is Hellsing.
Oh, yeah, yeah. Also by Team 4 Star, right?
Yep.
Yeah. So good.
It is
yeah,
good.
Our friend Corey brought up a line from Hellsing Bridge, which got us on this whole tangent, but
yep.
it was pretty worth.
But it makes sense, because they took the dark aspect of the already dark Hellsing and made it... It's still dark as hell, but it's a comedic dark, which fits so well.
What's interesting about Dragon Ball Abridged is they actually like keep certain scenes somewhat serious and just do them differently. So that's kind of interesting.
They do the same thing with Hellsing in a way, but yeah, they just make the moments so much funnier. Like the first time they dealt with Anderson, I can't really say a lot of it because I don't know who all's watching this. I don't want to truly offend anybody because it's pretty offensive.
Generally, every series.
But they first meet, and it's just their first interaction is one of the funniest things I've ever seen. Just like they meet and just like, well, what's this? It's like, oh look, it's a priest from the church. And what's this? No little Timmy glued to your crotch.
Oh yeah.
It's like, oh shit. He's like, what are you doing here? The nearest elementary school is like 10 miles away.
Everyone's heard pedophile joke.
I know, but it's just
church jokes.
All that stuff is just like. They still screw up Vegeta.
Dude. Has Corey watched Dragon Ball Z Abridged?
That's not from Corey.
Oh, okay, so is it anyone we know?
Looks like Alan Hunt. Is that who it is?
Oh my god, it's Alan Hunt! Hi, Alan Hunt. I work with him.
Oh, okay. Hey.
Yeah. Hi. Yeah, it's ironic that you come in when we're talking about a Bridge series when we talk about Dragon Ball Abridged all the time at work, but yeah. Vegeta got screwed over in the most recent Dragon Ball Abridged. Yeah. His lines weren't as funny as Alan wanted them to be, and it made him sad. But alas, he still gets lots of good moments. He still doesn't get screwed over as bad as he gets in the main series. Dun 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 dun.
I still like how they can actually make an abridged series still fourth wall break.
Oh, all the time.
But they do it somewhat in Hellsing, but they do it a lot in Yu-Gi-Oh! Like especially with the studio since it's being done by
4 kids.
Yeah, it's done by 4 kids, but they make a joke on there with, like, they're fighting the Big 5 like they did in the first season. It's with their, in the, right before they had the final showdown with Merrick and all them. And they're fighting, and they're doing all that, and then they're monologuing and everything. It's just like, this is what you get for messing with Team 4 Star. It's like, kids. What? Team 4 kids. What did I say? Team 4 Star. What is that? I have no idea. Just makes so many just random stupid jokes about studios and all this kind of crap. It's like, they're beautiful, and the voices are amazing.
Yeah. Sometimes the voices are better than the actual...
Kaiba's abridged voice is absolutely hysterical. It sounds exactly like him, too, and that's what's unbelievably terrifying. And every voice in Yu-Gi-Oh! Abridged is done by one guy, Little Karibo.
Except for the girls. Some of the girls.
Nope.
No,
he does all the girls.
Some of the girls are girls.
He has like a voice modulator that he uses, but it's actually all him.
Really?
Yeah.
Really?
I'm not kidding you. He has some little controls or whatever that he does.
Mokuba.
Shut up, Mokuba.
Shut up, Mokuba. Okay. We probably went on the abridged rant long enough now, I think. Thanks, Corey.
Yeah.
You really did help.
Yeah.
But, so yeah, I guess we'll talk about... Should we go into specific anime now, or should we just go into, like, some of, like subgenres, like romantic comedies and stuff, or ecchi comedies? Does it really matter?
Doesn't really matter.
Doesn't really matter.
Yeah. You start off, and we'll just go from there.
Just go from there?
Yeah.
You start.
Oh, I gotta start. I don't like starting.
Because you watch more comedy anime than I do.
Okay, that doesn't mean anything.
Okay, I'll start.
Okay, then.
So, one of the first comedy anime I want to talk about in some amount of depth. This is more like on the recommendation side of things. We didn't have too much to talk about in general because, yeah.
Comedy.
Just
all over the place.
Yeah, it's we're talking about, yeah, exactly. We don't have to be consistent because we're talking about comedy. And is that Alan Hunt again?
Yeah. Someone said Gintama is a comedy.
They lied to you. It'll make you cry. I'll talk
But
about
it is a comedy, though.
It is. I'll talk about Gintama later.
Gintama is Mark, so he'll answer questions about that.
I'm saving it for last because it's the best.
You can tell he's giddy about this.
You can tell that the person who runs this hates me. But he's got this face like, I've heard him talk about it so many times. What else do you have to say? So first, gonna talk about Konosuba, which is amazing. It's a bit of a different take on the isekai, trapped in another world genre, but it pokes fun at all the various tropes associated with that genre, and there are many tropes associated with that genre. So, main guy gets resurrected after dying, as you do in isekai, trapped in other world genres. Although, I guess you get the occasional ones where the character doesn't die and gets sent, but this was one of them where he does die.
Yep.
Because that's how most of them are. And he meets this goddess on the brink of death, named Aqua, and she's giving him the whole spiel about, like, you can either come back to life in another world, or your options are limited, like, you better make the choice or you're gonna go straight to hell, or something similar to that. And she's like, alright, you can take one thing with you to the other world. And Kazuma's like, oh, and by the way, there's a Konosuba abridged, and it's not necessary. Because the series is already funny enough.
It is funny, but it's not as funny.
Yeah, it's like, you don't make a bridge series of comedy anime because they're already funny. But
they do make a joke about that, though. They're like, what? This comedy seems like we're just copying off the original dub. It's like, we need to stop. It's like, no, it's not the same. Like, yeah, we're saying line for line here.
So, yeah, his one thing he chooses is the goddess herself. You're coming with me. If I have to go to this other world, then you gotta go with me.
You're coming with me.
She's like, that's against the rules. And then suddenly this other goddess comes down. She's like, actually, it's not. So he drags the goddess chick to the other world with him, and they're fucking poor, and they got no job, and they have to make this ragtag party, and everyone.
And she's an idiot.
And everyone he recruits is completely retarded, in a non-offensive way.
One is the useless goddess. The other is a.
They're stupid. They're stupid.
What is she? A
oh yeah. Okay. So
wizard that's just only good at explosion spells.
Yeah. Okay. So there's the goddess who he called to the world with him. If you haven't already figured out by the fact that she was duped into coming to the world, she's got about 5 brain cells, and she, as Andrew knows this joke anyway, but she doesn't. She appears to not wear underwear.
She does. It actually is.
But she actually does wear underwear. She just turns it invisible because she doesn't want anyone to see her underwear.
Yeah. How much sense does that make?
Da-da-da-da. But, and then another person who joins their team is this girl named Megumin, and she's a mage, and she can use any spell, and she's super powerful, but all she does is use explosions. And so, like, any situation, they're, like, in a crowded building, like a small little house. Explosions! And, like, stop her. It's hilarious.
Which also inspired the mega meme.
Yeah. Oh.
So many things of that.
She's the most popular character in the series. And Kazuma himself, the guy who got transferred to the other world, he's not an idiot, but he's hilarious. Like, oh my god, he's like the straight man to all the girls being the Tsukami.
Yep.
He's the Tsukami to the boat.
Nothing new yet.
Oh, I thought they said something.
No, last one is from
I really am blind.
You really are blind. God, just leave the reading to me.
I put the TV on the other side for sure.
Nah, just leave the reading to me. I'll do it because this blind bat over here can't see.
It's okay. This is a comedy podcast. So literally every time I do that, it's kind of funny because people pity me.
Being like a new Abbott and Costello group here.
Yeah. But Kazuma's great. He's got like this only ability he really uses is called steal. And so he just steals a random object off people, and 9 times out of 10 he winds up stealing their underwear. That's kind of funny.
Yeah.
And then there's the girl named Darkness who joins them, who is a sadist. No, she's a masochist.
Yeah.
She's a masochist.
And
she's a
masochist.
tank. She's a tank. So she's always like running to the front of the line, like, let them hit me.
Because she wants pain.
But she wants pain. And like one of the funniest scenes in the whole entire show is the ostrich scene. I bring this up whenever I talk about the series. But
and she apparently, she is a masochist, but she also gets off when she's not hurt with being like, verbally abused. You're teasing me!
Verbally abused.
Yeah.
But there's...
But even with the ostrich things, like, she seems like that she's getting excited by the fact that they're not trampling her.
Yeah, because because they're torturing her by not doing what she wants. So it's still masochism. But there's like a giant horde of ostriches about to like destroy their caravan they're driving, and she's like, I'll hold them up. she goes run in front of the giant horde of ostriches, and they like backflip and it goes slow motion and makes matrix noises. It's amazing.
Backflip right over her.
Yeah, and also frogs. Every time
frogs.
there's a giant frog in Konosuba, it's literally the most glorious thing in existence because
Our TV went blank.
our TV did go blank.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's broken.
Yeah.
Oh. No! You
I'm
can't
s-
see people.
I can't see. What's wrong with me? Now you can't see either. We're even. Yeah,
But having you talk crap in it.
I'm telling you.
Karma beeth a bitch.
But the the frogs always like wind up just capturing all of his other party members, and he has to always jump and kill them at the last second. And it's like the only way they can make money.
Yeah.
And it's also kind of good because it's kind of down to earth. It's basically just they're just trying to get by with the money situation, taking any quest they can get, and it's usually like the most small scale crappy job they can find.
Yeah, usually.
And there's actually like one or two times when the series gets a little bit serious. And has like there's a couple of okay fights here and there. There was one scene where there was like the skeleton dude and like
Yeah, the Doulahan.
no,
No, not him?
no, they went to like a dungeon and there was a skeleton and his skeleton wife died and they had to like solve the mystery and it was actually like kind of feelsy. I was like,
Okay.
that kind of hurt.
Okay.
I was like, why did it get so sad all of a sudden? This series is so funny. Why'd you do that? But yeah, it's just a good series. It's actually one of my favorite Trapped in Another World series, and it's just there to bash other World series. So
I have one issue to complain about what you just said. You said that it's like your favorite Trapped in Another World series.
One. ReZero is my favorite.
I was going to say. I was
said
like, how are
one.
you crossing off ReZero?
I said one.
Oh, I guess I missed the one.
Yeah, it's like my second favorite.
Okay, then.
Okay.
All right.
It's Andrew's turn. Go, Andrew. Talk about a comedy anime. Not Clannad.
That does have some comedic moments in it, but yeah, it's definitely not something you want to talk about. That will stab
I am
you right.
so ready to watch that show.
That will hit you in the feels, and you will be feeling it for days,
For weeks.
probably weeks.
That traumatizes everyone.
But one of them, I think that is just the concept of it is funny. There is a lot of comedic in it, but it also has a lot of action. Is a certain magical index.
Oh, they're making a new season. Season 3 of, I think, Index.
Really?
There's a trailer and everything.
You sure it's not like the movie? Because they did make a movie.
Yeah.
Sweet.
Yeah.
I was going to say, because I felt like season 2 did kind of cut off.
Alan, if he's still watching this, is a big Index fan too.
Oh, sweet.
I think you might actually like Railgun more, but, you know.
I haven't seen Railgun yet. I've been meaning to get to it.
Oh.
But yeah, I like that because it's funny because
I haven't seen him.
there's this guy, he has apparently the worst luck imaginable. Like anything, like he can just be walking down the street and just out of nowhere, a pop bottle come up under his foot and he'll fall and bash his face on the ground.
Mm-hmm.
Just random shit out of nowhere. Just like, oh, look, I'm just walking casually along. Oh, shit, I'm dead.
The worst luck.
Yeah, pretty much. And then he finds a nun. And all this kind of crap. She's starving. She's begging for food. And he's like, fine, what the hell? Does all this crap. And apparently it's because of his hand. He can destroy anything magical around his body with touching it with his hand. She wears this eternal, like, garb, like a nun's habit or whatever that...
What's that?
What is that?
Keep going.
Oh. But that it can do all that's supposed to protect her from everything, and he doesn't believe in magic and all that kind of stuff, but he knows that he can destroy some things like that. So he's like, all right, well, test it. He just like puts his hand on her shoulder, and it's like, she's like all calm, like, look, nothing happened. Then just her entire dress just explodes. He's like, oh shit.
This goes back to the fact that a lot of comedy in anime is ecchi.
She's a lolly though.
Of course.
But since she's a nun, she can't really fight back. So the only thing that she can do, and it kind of becomes a tradition, she bites him. Like, just like full-on shark bites him. Like, she'll just grow canine sharp teeth and just chomp on his freaking head.
That's another, like, over-exaggerated thing, you know? Like,
yeah.
Characters just randomly grow sharp teeth, or, like, their nails will turn into claws, or...
Yep.
Just complete off-the-wall shit.
But then just, like, she starts doing that, you're like, damn my luck! But then it just keeps getting better and better, and the jokes are insanely funny. They're random all over, and it's the only show that I can think of that if you're interested in fighting, great. If you like seeing nuns around kick ass, great. If you like seeing guys punch women, great.
Oh god.
That's literally, since his hand can nullify magic, whenever he fights, he punches people. And a lot of the people that he fights are women.
Oh.
So he goes straight for a face shot every time. It's like, well, okay, then whatever. If you're going to make a show about a guy going around beating up nuns, whatever, go for it. That concept alone I find is kind of funny.
It's all completely in... They're bad nuns.
They actually are. They're like
deserve it.
crazy sadistically like.
Yeah, like every single character in Make a Kill.
Actually, some of them are actually more so. Like, to win this fight, to deal with not being affected by something, they willingly take out, like, pens and deafen themselves.
Well, that's psychotic, but...
There's a lot of other scenes I can't recall exactly, but there's a lot of them that are a lot weirder.
Make a Kill is just like, hey, literally everyone's evil and sadistic.
Pretty much. But just the jokes that they make is just crazy. They always make fun of, like, one of them is so short, so she wears whatever those shoes are that, like, add height to you, but that are, like, 10 inches tall.
Karate shoes.
Right? No, they're not like those. They're like actually like wearing like you're standing on a top hat.
Oh, okay.
And they're literally 10 inches tall. It's just like, what the crap? Railgun is better. Okay, I'll take your word for it, man. I haven't seen Railgun yet. I want to. So don't be bitching at me about Railgun yet.
Dang, Alan, you upset Andrew. Alan, you've seen Alan walking around.
Yeah, I've seen him.
Yeah.
I talked to him.
You know.
I know.
You know.
He's like, I just haven't bought it yet. I'm going to buy Railgun, so relax.
Keep saying it, Alan. Don't relax.
You better relax or I won't watch it. All right, go.
Yeah, before I get into my next show I was going to talk about, that reminds me that speaking of all like the dark aspects of Railgun or of Index, and also talking about Make a Kill and stuff, it is exceedingly rare for anime to not have comedy. Even the most serious of serious anime generally has some comedic instances in it. My biggest example is Berserk. So like I've told you, like Berserk is like the darkest thing, or it's up there. Basically, in like this isn't my next series. I just wanted to bring it up because it's interesting. In Berserk, there is a singular character. It's Guts' fairy friend named Puck, who is pretty much solely there for comedic value and to lessen the dark tone of the story. Because, like, he even says in a chapter, what are you talking about? Like, the editors wouldn't even let this chapter go on if it wasn't for me lightening the mood. Like, he breaks the fourth wall all the time. Like, sometimes he's, like, dressed as Yoda. Like, when he's giving wisdom, he always, like, a little Yoda outfit on. And this is in Berserk, like, the darkest, most screwed up series ever. And Puck's, like, the light at the end of the tunnel. And he's not only, like, just a comedic presence, he also just, like, positively influences all the characters' dark, tragic lives. Like, Guts is this brooding dude who's just upset because he can't sleep, because whenever he closes his eyes, his curse on his neck bleeds and he gets hunted by demons. So Puck fights off the demons with this little like stick that has like you know like the flowers with the white little puffs and you blow on them and they go whew.
Yeah.
He has one of those and he fights off the demons while Guts is sleeping.
Wow.
so Guts can sleep.
Wow, okay.
So like even the most serious anime out there are gonna have some comedic aspects to it. So like that's another reason like how the comedy thing might be a turn off. It's like I'm watching this super serious series and I want it to be totally serious. You're not gonna get that.
Nope.
And you're gonna have to get over it because it's worth it. Alan's a big Berserk fan. He'll probably mention Berserk.
He did.
What'd he say?
Berserk equals comedy gold. Elfen Lied and Dead Man Wonderland are also comedic less.
comedic less? Oh, comedy less. Oh,
yeah.
No. Oh, comedy less. Okay. I wonder.
We know what you meant. You didn't have to specify Elfen. We knew what you meant.
Yeah, I don't know if Elfen Lied is any comedy. What was the other one he mentioned?
Dead Man Wonderland.
Yeah, that one is pretty edgy.
There's some moments in it. Like one of the guys, I can't remember what his name is. I think it's something simple like maybe Crow or something.
Oh, yeah.
And he's fighting the main guy and the little chick that seems to like him. I think her name's Shiro.
Which means white.
Yeah, well, that makes sense because she's like pale white and she wears all white in a skin tight outfit too.
Yeah.
But
I had to specify the skin tight outfit, didn't you, Andrew?
Well, because it's I think it
know.
plays into this how this scene goes. The guy sees it. She's like just pounding on him, not really inflicting any damage. He's like, wait, what the? Oh shit, a woman! What the hell?
Yeah, it is rare because they're in prison, so you don't really see those very often. The only one you see is like
women.
Psycho, Yandere, crazy girl. What's her name? What's her name's his sister?
Yeah, one of the inmates' sister.
She is. Next level crazy.
I liked how she fought though. Everybody, because
She had like blood earrings.
No, that's not even what it was. Like Dead Man Wonderland, yeah, you use blood to fight, but she punctured her ears, yes, but the blood was attached and doing everything from her hair.
Oh, okay.
So she was fighting with her blood-stained hair.
Jiro copied her.
Pretty much. But it's like,
Horikoshi
that's what I really like.
copycat.
I'm not really sure about Elfen Lied. I haven't seen Elfen Lied yet.
Yeah, it's probably comedy-less.
Yeah, considering that I did, with the new death battle that they had with her fighting Carnage, it's like...
Didn't watch it yet.
Didn't watch it yet? Well, I'm not going to say too much about the thing. I'm not really anything about it. Just one of the scenes that we did about her explanation and everything was pretty fucking brutal.
Oh, I know all about Elfen Lied and how brutal it is. But...
Yeah, just like the whole thing is she finds this little dog and these kids kill it right in front of her. It's like, what the fuck? You deserve to die!
We're supposed to be talking about comedy here, and we're talking about kids beating dogs to death.
Well, Alan brought up Elfen Lied.
Thanks, Alan! You suck! On to my next series.
Yeah.
Now, this is another one that's action comedy, but it's also parody, so I wanted to bring up a specifically parody show. One Punch Man. One Punch! And some might argue that One Punch Man is more action than it is comedy, but I think it's a pretty healthy balance.
Yeah.
Like, because the whole... You're welcome. The whole concept of the show is based on parody. Like, it's... Even if it is serious in certain moments, it's still completely based around the idea of parody. of Saitama being the protagonist who's stronger than everybody, but instead of like that just being used for him to go through the plot like a normal protagonist, it just makes him mad because no one is as strong as him.
And he gets bored, he'll freak out over things.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
What was it? Carnage Kabuto?
Yeah.
He's like getting his ass beat by this thing, and he's just like, wait, does that mean it's like 7 days from now? Wait, does that mean? And then he's just like freaking out. It's like One Punch goes like, we missed the sale!
Yeah, at the
supermarket sale.
So he only cares about the most mundane shit imaginable because...
facial reactions tell just comedic gold.
Yeah, and further down the parody route, like even if you bring up the serious aspects, there's more to it probably, but as far as we know, he got his powers from normal workouts.
Normal, most mundane.
He did like... What? The running was kind of impressive, but outside the running...
I think it was like 10 miles a day.
Yeah, that's
either
100 push-ups.
And 100 curl-ups or something like that every day.
Yeah, like the 10-mile run is pretty impressive.
That
I'm
is
not
pretty
gonna
impressive,
lie.
yeah.
But outside the 10-mile run, people can do that, though.
Yeah.
Outside that run, like every day, though, that would destroy your legs.
Yeah, but that's the whole point.
But yeah,
doing all that.
His hair fell out. And then suddenly, he was a demigod.
He was godly.
He could planet bust from pushing up every single day of his life. And it's like...
And he did that. He explained it so seriously.
And it's a joke based on, just characters training in anime and unlocking new powers. It's like, Naruto trains his chakra, and then he gets a new power, which makes sense because the chakra system. But in One Punch Man, it's just, I trained.
I trained.
I didn't do anything special. I don't have any powers. I just trained.
I think he actually said it was only for like a few months too, which is even funnier.
And he was like a salesman and like a normal dude. And he fought this giant crab monster in his underwear.
Yeah,
and who was fighting a butt chin or trying to kill a butt chin kid because he made fun of his.
No, it's because he drew nipples on his armor.
Yeah, he drew nipples on his armor,
and he had no hands to wipe it off.
So yeah, and most of the early villains are all just parodies too, like because they sit there and ramble on about their evil ambitions, like in a joking way, compared to like the first guy he encounters is this dude named Vaccine Man, and he's just this Piccolo ripoff from Dragon Ball, who's just like all of the pollution in the world is corrupting, like and killing the animals, and the air is distorted, and everyone needs to die because of it. And they all have these mundane, super generic reasonings that get made fun of. So yeah, the show does have its serious moments.
Yes.
Like there's this arc called the Sea King arc.
And, that was pretty serious.
Saitama was absent for the majority of the arc, so it was mostly like a full-blown action series at that point. There was like a dramatic stand-up by this guy named Moomin Rider or Licenseless Rider or whatever.
Moomin Rider.
Yeah, where he had to like dramatically stand up to the guy.
Which that guy
even though Saitama showed up and one-punched him, it didn't go full comedy because after that he like had to give the credit to the other people. And because
he's not a hero to be for the sake of it. He wants to be to be a hero. He wants some recognition, but not to where it's like downgrading his fellow heroes.
Yeah,
he basically played it off as in it's like, whew, man, I'm glad that I was just able to come in and just steal all this glory from all these heroes that wore him down.
Yeah, so he made himself look bad.
He made himself look bad while emphasizing all the other heroes that were beaten and nearly dying because of fighting this guy.
Yeah, so it's got a good story too.
It really
like,
does.
His like relationship with his student Genos is pretty cool. And,
That's funny.
The Garo fight was the Boros. I haven't seen the Garo fight yet. That's the next big bad guy.
Ooh,
the
nice.
the Boros fight was
beautiful.
something else.
That was beautiful.
Boros could take more than a hit.
Yeah,
it wasn't a serious hit, but he kind of broke the name of the series himself.
Yeah,
it took more than one punch to kill Boros. Regeneration, son.
Which he actually kind of enjoyed. It. He was like, "You're still alive."
He's like, I actually kind of felt something.
Then he goes back to fighting this thing that's like bigger than an entire continent in just one punch. He's like, "Are you kidding? I'm back to one punch."
He got knocked to the moon and then jumped back. That was
Yeah,
pretty great.
while holding his breath.
One last thing before I transfer it over to Andrew for his next show about his whole recognition thing. There was like the episode where there was a bunch of bald people, wasn't it? where they all thought he was a member of their gang because he was bald.
Because he was bald. It's like, all these men are bald and they're villains. He was just like, I don't really care. And as soon as they're bald, it's like, beware of any bald men. It's like, what? No!
That was amazing. And we forgot, there was one enemy who gave him an even harder time than Boros.
Really?
Yeah.
Is it in the manga or the anime?
The anime and the manga.
Who is? I'm not really remembering it.
It was the mosquito. he fights this pretty hot mosquito monster girl.
No, but that's not the funniest thing.
I know, yeah.
It just,
and he beats her in one hit. He smacks her. Bugs suck. But then there's a mosquito at his house.
And he's just like, he slaps his hands like sonic booms. He's like,
he's just like teleporting and clapping around.
And he can't hit it. He's getting so pissed. He's running down the street carrying a can of bug spray. It's like, die, you little bastard.
It was amazing. I think that led into the Mosquito Girl fight, right?
It did, yeah.
Yeah.
Because Genos was fighting her, and then he just came out of nowhere chasing that freaking mosquito.
Yeah, but I think like the bug suck line just kind of emphasizes like One Punch Man style of humor, just really deadpan, just.
Yeah, but he also it was kind of just more like a bitch slap to beat her, and then he's just like, bugs suck.
It's like because
like,
mosquitoes
Jesus
suck.
Christ,
that was horrible, but it was so funny.
It was.
Good dub too.
It really is a good dub.
Yeah, Genos has a little bit of a weird-ish voice, but outside of that,
I like his voice.
Yeah. Surprised you didn't like try to just shove Tornado into this conversation because you're a fan.
I do like her, but she really was not in.
And she never really got to be too comedic.
Well, there was an OVA that she got to be pretty comedic in. Yeah. Like apparently, like they're all at a spa or something, and apparently she can't hold her liquor very well.
Oh, that's right. She's legal.
Yeah. Well, what is she, like in her 20s?
Yeah, she's older than Fubuki, who's like infinitely older looking.
Yeah. But yeah, she gets drunk and they're all playing games and everything. I don't know where it is. It's not on the DVD.
Probably just Japanese exclusive. I know there's a Konosuba OVA too, and it never got released. But
it's hilarious because there's like one villain, or not a villain, but just like one of their fellow heroes or whatever, and he gets stabbed through the chest with a sword, and everybody's like, what the hell's going on with this? And they're all accusing Tornado. It's like, why the hell would I do that? It's like, well, we found some traces of your telekinesis type thing on the weapon or something like that. It's just like, well, how the hell can that be? You find out she actually did skewer him, but she was wasted when she did it. And it was just kind of funny because the guy is like a zombie guy, so he can't die anyway. It was just kind of, I think he actually told her to stab him because they were both just completely wasted. He's like, yeah, come on, you can do this. Let's do this. Like, fucking Kate. Just like going completely batshit crazy. She wakes up and she's like just freaking the hell out. She's like,
oh yeah, I should say too. My first recommendation, Konosuba, was for people who really don't like the isekai genre and want to see it get made fun of. But for One Punch Man, it's for action fans who also want to try comedy. I guess I'll just say who I'm recommending this to. Or also to people who like American-style superheroes. Because, outside of My Hero Academia, you don't really get too many American superhero-inspired anime. Because it's funny, too, because My Hero Academia and One Punch Man have a really similar, hero system.
Yeah, they kind of do.
Yeah. Anyway, I'll bounce back to you.
This is one that actually you and me have both seen, so we can actually.
Hey, we One Punch Man was too.
Yeah.
See, we're crossing over. We're good.
Monster Musume.
Oh, okay, but I'm not caught up on that. So.
Well, you're caught up with the anime, so we can just go anime based.
See, I was talking ecchi earlier. This is an ecchi comedy.
Yeah, big time.
Big time.
But it's like, just from the title of it, Monster Musume, it's demi-humans like lamias, centaurs, all those things, the government has known that they exist for, what, years or something? I don't know if they ever said how long they knew that they were around.
A couple years.
But yeah, then they're finally deciding, like, you know what? Let's just see what happens. So they came out with it and allowed the demi-humans to live among humanity.
Mm-hmm.
But there's a catch. They have to, each demi-human has to live with a human family to learn how to interact in the human world.
Oh.
Well, you know this. Don't be acting like you don't know.
I knew that.
Yeah, you did.
I was playing the idiot in the conversation. See, we're talking about comedy anime here, so you're being the serious one and I'm being the idiot. I'm trying to, play up the comedic tropes. Should we get another thing?
Nope, still from Alan.
Yeah, I'm terrible.
You are, man.
Keep talking.
Anyway, sorry about these tangents. This is just what we do.
I am especially blind today. We started later, so I think my vision decreases proportionally as the day goes on.
I had to see what you are in a couple hours.
I will be literally completely blind.
And I will be perfectly suited for night vision since I'm up at all hours of the night.
It's true. But go on.
But yeah, it starts off with the main guy, which oh damn it! I know his name. Kimihito.
No one else knows his name.
Kimihito.
I'm glad.
Fucking Kimihito. Damn.
You're probably the only person who knows his name.
Because throughout the whole show, he's always either called Darling, Beloved, Boss, Master. Never his actual name.
He's also faceless.
No, he has a face.
Barely. He's chibi 90% of the time.
His face is.
Yeah.
His face. Well, it's not really a
it's
chibi
like
face.
it's like a derp face.
Yeah,
He's got this weird white-eyed,
just bland mouth look face.
generic self-insert face.
But he ends up living with a lamia named Mia, who
Angie wants a pillow off.
Yeah. So.
Sorry,
but,
I had to throw shade.
Yeah, I know you had to do that, you bastard. But it turns out it's like there's another rule that they have to follow. They are not allowed. Humanity is not allowed to harm the demi-humans, nor the other way around.
Because we're trying to keep it peaceful here.
Yes, and it turns out that it's like he had no intention of doing it anyway, but she wants to. He ends up waking up one day, and then the government official that brought her.
Yeah, I don't know her name though.
Her name's Miss Smith, but I can't think of what her actual title is. Anyway, whatever. The person that set him up to live with her, or her to live with him, comes up and says all that, like, you can't harm her, she can't harm you type thing, and
I would hope so if they're living
also
together.
brings up the fact that includes defiling her.
Of course.
So, and he's like freaking out, like, what the hell? But she wants that. She wants him so bad that she's willing to do that.
Mm-hmm.
But obviously for the law thing, that can't happen. He'll go to jail and she'll get deported back to her wherever she's from.
Because this is a series about social inequality and racism.
Yeah, kind of, yeah.
If you really want to get down to it.
just trying to deal with all that because not
just
everybody
bright
is
and fluff-
accepting that there's...
Just more fluffy.
Yeah.
Yeah, it
Literally
deals
fluffy.
with these things in
Yeah.
a nice, happy way.
And then it's like, he ends up dealing with all this crazy crap, and then it seems like, okay, he's just finally starting to get accustomed to living with the lamia.
Mm-hmm.
And then out of nowhere, there's a harpy.
Yeah, he's basically, I mean, we can't go through all of them, but...
Well, we can quickly name them,
Yeah,
but we
true,
don't
true,
have
true.
to go through all that, but it's like...
I'm just saying his harem gets, like, huge.
He has like a 7 or 8 girl harem. All of them are demis, and at least, 3 of them at least take up so much space. Mia, especially since she's a 30-foot snake. Mm-hmm. Centaurea, which, given by the name, she's a centaur. And then Arachne or Ranchia, and then she's an Arachne, so she's a spider woman. Yeah. Everything from like the hips up is human. From the hips down, she has a giant black widow body with a skull on the back of her abdomen.
She has a pretty cool design.
She does. She has 6 eyes too, and she does that whole thing where she keeps like half of them covered. But yeah, he ends up living with the lamia, the harpy, the centaur, the spider girl, a slime girl,
literally death.
A mermaid, and a Doulahan.
There you go.
Which her name is hilarious. Her name is Lala.
Yeah. Which is, I think, also the name of... I haven't watched this series, but I think it's also the name of the devil girl from To Love Ru.
A variation of it,
almost
yeah.
positive her name's Lala as well.
But yeah, she's...
I haven't watched To Love Ru, so...
Lala is quite funny because just the fact that she's always losing her head.
Yeah. But really, though.
Yeah, literally losing her head. And it's funny, though, because her body can still just like typical of a Dullahan, it can react without having a head. It just can't speak.
But it's not like crap, the other series with the Dullahan.
Durarara?
Yeah, it's not like Durarara though, where they're separate entities though, right?
No.
Yeah.
She still controls the body. She just doesn't have a head, so she can't really. Actually, though, it's kind of weird. She actually can feel things around her, like when they first
Which
met.
is kind of like Durarara. I don't know about anything about actual Dullahan mythology, so I don't know how it really works.
I don't either. But then probably at least one of my favorite girls from the series is Sue.
Because she's a slime.
Because she's a slime, and the fact that she's kind of like a kid.
Copycat.
Yeah, she mimics. She doesn't really have.
She's basically Ditto as a waifu.
Pretty much. But I guess since I said we were going to stick to the anime, I won't go too much. The further into the manga that we've gotten, she's actually developing an actual personality. Like her own unique being.
Yeah. The series actually has a little bit of a plot, which is kind of funny.
It really actually does, and the more it goes on, the more of a plot that it seems to be getting. Especially with Sue, because they just dealt with one of the last issues dealt with the fact that another slime from some other land came and was attacking everything, looked just like Sue.
It was an imposter.
No, not that. It was trying to absorb Sue because apparently in the way that slimes reproduce in a way, they want one that's just like power and then one that's got smart so that they can create a new genus of slime, one that's strong and smart.
Oh, their endeavor. Pretty
much, yeah. Pretty much. But yeah,
this
one was strong and then it wanted Sue because she was smart. And but it was massive. It was like almost full on kaiju. And
there was a kaiju battle in Monster Musume, by the way.
And that actually brings up that point because Sue ends up absorbing more chemicals and turns back into that.
Yeah, this is a recommendation for all the people who watch this podcast for kaiju regions and gets mad that we talk about anime all the time.
Yeah, Monster Musume had it
has monster people, so
it did make a thing with a giant druid, and then Sue fell into a vat of toxic chemicals, and this was only anime exclusive. When she comes up to fight again, it goes to like the old style Godzilla movies with the pixelated screen, pans up her back, which the back of her tentacled hair formed Godzilla's tail, all the way up her back, and when she spit like a loogie, it was his atomic breath. It's like beautiful.
It was pretty legendary.
No, and it's like I guess that the creators just could not resist.
Of the anime, anyway.
Yeah, but it's like they did that again in that part where they fought with those two slimes. It was a slime on slime fight.
Slime fight. I don't know how that's gonna work. I mean, that seems like it would never end. I don't think am I that far? I don't remember that.
No, that's way into the new issues of the manga.
Yeah, I'm not even close then.
But
I'm pretty far back in the actual release manga.
Yeah, but it's quite funny, and the way that things pan out, it's really kind of an emotional moment.
It has feels too.
It does have feels, especially because then after that, Sue starts getting more personality because she's gotten even smarter and more...
Okay, so she wins and she absorbs her. That's fucked up.
Actually, she almost didn't win. She kind of actually lost.
Oh, but somehow still got the intelligence?
Well, it was from when she fell into the vat.
Ah.
But she only survived because Kimihito intervened. If he hadn't have been absorbed into both slimes, she would have died and been completely absorbed, erased, and actually killed.
Ah.
Which for a while it was like, oh shit, Sue actually did just die. It's like, no, she's fine.
They're not gonna keep that permanent.
No, but
it's not that kind of serious.
It was weird of how he saved her though. Since you haven't caught up with it, I won't tell you about it. But it was.
I'll eventually catch up. So.
Well, apparently, slimes have cores, just like in most games and all that stuff. They have.
Too,
yeah, but they're hidden, obviously. And when they were being absorbed, right before that evil slime found Sue's core, unintentionally, Kimihito actually swallowed it.
Ah.
So that saved Sue. And then at the end, when he's all freaking out, he didn't realize he actually swallowed it. Yeah, he actually vomited it up, and then they're like, oh, what the hell? Then you just see Sue's eyes and her tentacle hair popping out of it. It's like,
weirdest rescue of all time.
Pretty much. she didn't have enough strength or slime to go back to her full form. She was back to what she normally does, is just hanging out in a bucket. But yeah, it's a
bizarre show, but it's fun.
It is very fun, and in the further in the manga you get, the more monsters you get introduced to, and the more you see of just how crazy this is. Like, they met a mushroom girl, a bee girl, all kinds of crap, and a vampire, which was I like the design actually, and she ended up hanging out with Poppy, the harpy.
The series is also surprisingly popular. I think like I always like check out the manga book sales and stuff, and Monster Musume is always like really high up. It surprises me.
I think it's because
I'm really always like confused. Like I think it's more popular in America than it is in Japan. And
America likes Monster Girls.
I think America just likes Monster Girls. I'm just like, okay.
Well, apparently because a lot of the Monster Girls are actually American based. Like, with the exception of, like, the Snow Women and all that stuff that are from Japan.
Yukiona?
Yeah, but, like, Harpies and Lamias and all that, they're not from specifically, just like Harry Potter and the Snitch. Wow.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, exactly. It's like he knows.
But, yeah, that's... Oh, we got on a big tangent there, but yeah.
Yeah. Do you have one more recommendation after my last one, or...?
I'll come up with something. Because, yeah, we're a little... If you want to do just about an hour
or so.
Yeah.
But I'll try not to take too long. And it's going to be hard since I'm about to talk about the big one.
Yeah, Gintama.
Hey, Alan knows all about Gintama. It's time for you to exit the stream, Alan, because you're probably tired of it. But yeah. He's laughing too. No one wants me to talk about this. Gintama's good, watch it.
Because we all know about it so much. You talk about it all the time.
But I always talk about the serious aspect in some of the comedy.
Oh.
This time I'm ignoring the serious aspect. Acting like it doesn't exist. And I'm going to talk about why the comedy is good.
Okay.
And it'll be a little bit different.
Okay, go for it.
Okay. So here we go. One of the reasons why the comedy is so good is because of how long it is. Because most comedy anime are like in the 24, 13 kind of range. They're usually comedy anime, like...
Typical anime series length.
Yeah, majority... Or shows that are majority... I can't even talk. Series that are... majority comedy? That's not the right way to say it.
Majority.
Yeah, but that doesn't make sense either. Series that are majority comedy.
What are you trying to...
Huh?
Mainly.
It's late. Series that are mainly comedy.
Man, you are just crashing like no other. Good lord, man.
Usually are only like 13 to 26 episodes long.
Okay.
Yes. But with Gintama's length, it allows you to grow, the comedy to grow and prosper in a way that most series can't. Their comedy kind of stays stagnant, whereas Gintama's expands.
Okay.
And I'll explain how. Because most of the comedy is like character-based comedy and callback humor. Yeah. So you get characters like Shinpachi, whose entire life is his glasses, and stuff like that. But these jokes like just they kind of start in early episodes and you don't realize they're going to be running jokes. And then like the more you see of the series, they just make them get constantly more ridiculous and exaggerated and funny as it goes on. They just do bigger and dumber things with them. Every time you think something can't get any dumber, it gets dumber, and it's amazing. And like I said, the character based comedy is like its main selling point and everything. So that's why the long running aspect of it works so well.
Okay.
Andrew's looking like, I don't care, Mark.
No, I'm actually interested. I'm just waiting for you to actually give examples.
Okay, well, I did give one.
You gave one, but give more because even I know that there's so many more examples.
There's so many examples. That's why it's hard. Like Kondo's a gorilla. Okay. Kondo's the main chief of the police in Gintama, and everyone calls him and everyone calls him a gorilla because he's a hairy man. His first interaction in the whole entire show is he goes to the host club with Shinpachi's sister, and he says, "Is there any way you would love a woman or love a man whose butt looks like an afro with a split down the middle?" And she says to him,
"What the fuck?
I would love him, butt afro and all." And which causes him to stalk her because she says she would love his butt afro. And and the gorilla joke just gets more and more absurd as the series goes on, because like at first they're just calling him gorilla, but then as it goes on, like he's just constantly seen like eating bananas, or like, and then like he gets like trapped on an island and like becomes literally the king of the gorillas of the island, and then in like the last arc of the series, or in this arc called the Yagyu arc, he's going to get married to a giant gorilla from another planet. It's a whole planet of gorillas, and it's amazing. It's just like it piles on the laughs really hardcore if you've watched it from the get-go. And other things is just like the variety of the series too. Like since it's so long, like it can cover various different forms of humor, like the fourth wall breaks versus the complete and utter fucking random aspect versus the character comedy versus all the other stuff you can do since you have 300 episodes to work with. And you can have episodes that are like don't progress the plot and are completely stupid just for the sake of, you know,
being stupid.
And you don't have to worry about being like, oh man, I wish there was some plot progress or something, or something actually happened, because it doesn't matter because there's 300 episodes. But a good example of one of those would be the episode where the characters are looking for ways to improve Gintama. So literally every single character goes to the main people's house, the main Yoruzuya household, and gives their own example of how Gintama should improve. So like,
okay.
So like, Gintoki, the main character, doesn't actually get to say his, but like Kagura is like, here's how we should improve Gintama, and then the whole series it goes to this movie style trailer, and it's like a love story, and it's like, and in the middle of it turns into like a space battle Gundam parody, and I don't know how that happens, and then there's this prince named Prince Hata, and he's obsessed with animals and aliens, and he loves all creatures on Earth and stuff like that. And they go into how he would improve the story, and it's a giant like Tarzan parody, and all the characters are dressed as various different animals, and he's leading them, and he's swinging from a vine and like a loincloth. and then you know the ninja sadistic or masochism girl, like purple hair.
Oh yeah.
Who just like loves being abused even more than Darkness from Konosuba.
Oh wow.
They go into her version of how they would improve Gintama, and it's literally a horror trailer, and it's amazing. Like you just like see Gintoki's like running for his life, and there's just blood splattering everywhere, and they're screaming, and it's so random and bizarre, and it's amazing. But I could go on and on and on, and I don't want to sit here and talk about Gintama forever since I've talked about it so much. I'll just kind of leave it there. But I had to bring it up since it's my favorite comedy show. And
we figured. I think everybody figured.
Yeah, I know. Every time. It's why I would have more and better examples, but I don't want to waste everyone's time. So Andrew, what is your last?
My last one is actually one where it's just got a DVD release a while ago, but it doesn't seem to want to get a dub. And the manga keeps going, and I'm happy for that, and it's because it's really good. It's actually I Am.
Oh, I've heard of that.
It is quite funny. It has the straight man and the comedic guys in there too. And the straight guy in there is quite funny because he's what you would typically predict as a straight man. He's all calm and collect. He's relatively decently built. He's got the glasses that hide his eyes and the typical kind of hair. But the thing that makes him different is that he'll have like one of those juice boxes. He'll just carry it around in his mouth with nothing but the straw. His hands don't touch it at all. He'll just walk around and it just stays right there. The straw and the cup and the drink
and it's actually got the drink in it.
Yeah. So he's actually drinking it throughout the series.
Magic.
Yeah, he'll just like walk around. He'll take it out when he's talking, but when he's done, he'll put it right back in and just start walking around with it. Like it's like his version of a cigarette. But it's like as far as the funny guy in the group, that's kind of the remainder of the three in the group.
So it's one straight man versus. Oh, I should also mention that Gintama has a straight man comedy routine like out the ass. Like Shinpachi's the best straight man. But
I think we kind of figured.
Yeah.
But it's like the series relates with this guy who cannot keep a secret, cannot hide anything. Like it opens up with them all playing like a, I don't know, whatever, some Japanese card game where you're like the thing like picking the Joker or something. And he can't win because he can't hide his reaction. Like they're all streaming over these cards, and when they like get ready to grab the Joker, his eyes like perk up or something. And he's like he can't hide, and he keeps losing. Like why do I keep losing? Like you can't keep a secret, man.
Also, actually, I Am is a very strange title. Is there a reason it's named that?
That's the English translation. Huh. The actual thing is My Monster Secret.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So why?
They're kind of they're both related to hiding something, but it just. Then I got over the name a while ago. But it's like, he likes a girl in his class. Her name is really weird. I think it's like Unico or something. And she's always kind of off by herself. She never eats lunch with anybody. Never goes. She's always the first one there and the last one to leave. And he doesn't know. Nobody knows why, but he really likes her. Mm-hmm. And so he finally gets the nerve up from his friends coaxing him to go and confess his love to her.
That sounds like what Corey did to me one year.
But this is the funny part. When they all send him off to go do it, they're just as he's walking away, they're just like, Godspeed, man, all that stuff. And then as soon as he is out of sight, he's like, that poor bastard is doomed. It's just like they just set him up to fail.
Little did they know.
Yeah, little did they know. When he goes in to confess to her, finds out she's a vampire. She's in the classroom. She's got her fangs out. She's got her wings, and a couple of little bats show up out of nowhere and just fly around her. And then it's the whole thing of, hence how the series starts, of him trying to keep that secret, because if her dad finds out that she's revealed herself, she has to quit school and they all have to move and get taken away.
Oh.
So obviously he doesn't want that. So he starts doing whatever he can to hide the secret, and it's very difficult for him to do.
And it doesn't have an anime yet, does it?
It does.
Oh, it does?
It's a 10-episode series or something, or 11 or 12 or something like that, but it won't get a dub for some reason. It pisses me off.
It's terrible.
It is. And then all that kind of stuff is happening, and then the class rep find out she's an alien, but it's kind of weird because...
It's like Monster Musume in school.
Yeah. She's not an alien in the typical aspect, though. It's because, like, she walks around, she has, like, a hair accessory in her hair, which is like a giant screw, and the screw will pop open, and a mini version of her comes out. That's the actual form. The thing that she actually is in is a outer aspect suit.
Oh, God.
Yeah, she's only, like, this tall.
That's amazing.
Yeah. And she has,
Does
like...
the suit look just like her?
Exactly.
Okay.
It's same body, same face, everything.
I kind of figured.
The only difference is the screw on the back of her head, which is her access port, and her alien attribute is she has a tentacled thing that comes up like Sue. And that's another secret he has to keep, and then they all find out about each other, so they're all keep working together to keep secrets.
Mm-hmm.
The jokes are hilarious, and then they find out more people are actually these things that are not normal. Like, Yuno's best friend is a werewolf.
Mm-hmm.
And it's hilarious. When the guy first sees the werewolf, they're at an amusement park. They kind of went on like a fake date. They didn't know it was a date either, so they were just going as friends. They run into him, and he's like, man, this guy looks fucking hardcore and everything. He's like all rad up. He's actually got fangs and everything. He's like, man, what's he going to be like when he turns into the werewolf? It turns out he'll actually turn into it if he sees the full moon or even just a picture of a moon. So it's like he can't look into a book that has a picture of the moon or he's going to turn.
Wow.
But when he turns into a girl, like an actual girl. The guy that he was in was the werewolf form.
I'm so confused right now.
It is very confusing, but it's quite hilarious.
I don't understand.
The funniest thing is that the girl is her actual form, and she's a nympho.
As you do.
And she keeps trying to get that whenever things happen, she keeps trying to get the alter ego of herself to wear a bra. Which is like, and they just keep interacting with things. He just like has that mental image of that guy walking around in a bra. The jokes are just weird enough, and then they run into their principal.
Who's also a monster.
She's a devil.
Of course.
And in all aspects of the word, not just like the satanic type thing, like bad luck and just doing whatever she feels like doing and causing problems. She's like 4 feet tall. She's hundreds of thousands of years old, and she has like those typical just like spike up ram devil horns. But she has one weakness that everybody exploits so much in the show, and they have to be careful of. Anything sweet, she will be right there. It's like, and she can clone herself. She can make herself look like other people. The only thing she can't hide is the horns. And weirdly enough, it actually fools people.
It's like the Superman disguise. You literally just put on glasses and change your hair.
Well, no, that's the thing. Other people know, but whenever she's trying to affect somebody, it's usually the people that are kind of slow, so they believe it. Everybody's like, it's not this person, it's the principal. You can see the freaking horns. It's just so stupid.
It sounds pretty funny.
Oh, it is absolutely hysterical. The manga is even funnier.
I'm sure it went on past the anime, too.
Way, way, way past. And her dad, which is another really funny thing, is obviously he's a full-on vampire. And you'd think it's like, oh man, he's going to be like this hardcore vampire guy, which he is, but he's also 30 feet tall. And he's married to, obviously her mom, looks just like her, but she's normal woman size. Mm-hmm. It's just hilarious just watching the reactions of everything that they have. He fears her, obviously, because she's his wife and all that kind of stuff, but she's actually pretty hardcore. Like when he's freaking out on like her having friends over, next thing you know, she's got the shaded look over her eyes, like typical for people that are crazy, and she has a hammer and a stake. It's like, oh shit, she's gonna kill her husband. But it's like she does everything she can. She'll throw garlic at him, tie him up with garlic in front of his face.
Wait. So she's not a vampire.
No, she's a human.
Okay.
Unico or whatever her
I was about
name
to say,
is.
how is she doing this if she's also a vampire?
She's half. Dad's a vampire. Mom's a human. She's half human, half vampire.
Okay, so she is not weak to vampire stuff.
No, she is. She has all the weaknesses of a vampire, but she
shouldn't be able to touch garlic then.
Well, that's actually the crazy thing is it's like garlic's not actually. It's just like they do in other stuff. It's a smell. It's the smell that makes her upset. They actually explain all the abilities and the downsides of vampires, but that they've been elaborated. Like crosses, they don't fear them. It makes them angry.
Huh.
It's just like really angry. Like they have one up, like they're at a market and somebody's holding it up to her and just like, oh, look at the beautiful thing. She's like all scowling and mad. Like, oh shit, sorry.
Yeah, it's a pretty lighthearted series, so they're just trying to keep it funny.
And the thing with like sun, it doesn't kill vampires. It just makes them burn. Like as in like sunburn. Like they just get really dark skinned really fast.
This is the really nice version of vampires.
Yeah.
Still better than Twilight.
Yep. There's even a scene like where they're trying to get so that she can go out and like do gym class because she can't do it because obviously her skin. They're trying to like have her just like jump about hiding in shadows. And then at the end of all that, they're just like, why don't you just use sunscreen? She's like, huh? She's a ditz. She's a vampire, but she's a ditz. She's never even thought of using sunscreen. And it works, and they're all just like, what the fuck? But one example that I thought was absolutely hysterical and that could only really be done in the manga is the Nympho girl. And you find out that there's another girl that shows up. She's from the future, and she's the main guy's granddaughter. Which is like, what the hell is going on with all this?
We're getting way too Japanese.
It's funny because he's still in high school, and she's in high school too. But she acts like always she would do with her grandpa. She's riding on his shoulders. She's... like when he falls down, he's like, "Are you all right? You need a cane? Does your back hurt?" He's like, "I am fine." But she always is trying to cover up the nympho because apparently in the future there's a nympho goddess that took over the world. The world in the future is nymphomanic. Like everybody is a freaking nympho. She's part of a group that fights it.
There's the nympho resistance.
Yes, it's exactly what it's called, the nympho resistance.
What the fuck?
But they end up working together in one scene when the werewolf girl's, she's the nympho, her mom is the goddess appeal of it. You never actually see her. All you see is like a silhouette of her. Like they will not reveal her. And she's like this queen.
Oh,
of
that's why you
everything.
said it only work in the manga.
Well, just specific for this scene, they're like they decide the nympho resistant and the nympho decide to work together to create like the ultimate appeal thing to get men going without revealing anything. It can only work in this because of what is used. She has a sword, the nympho resistance. She goes up, perfect pose, blocks her nipples, and then her hair flux to block her crotch. It's like that can only work in a manga. It's like
you can do a still frame in the anime.
But they're still talking, they're still moving around and everything too. But it's like they're actually walking like that. It's like that can only work in the manga.
Yeah, true.
But it's like I just love that show because it's very, very funny. Just everything is just so weird. They keep meeting new people. One of them is a fallen angel who calls herself a devil now because fallen angel bullcrap. But the only reason she is because she can't find her halo. Like, it's not something that just permanently attached to him. It can come off and it can be lost.
Wow.
But it's absolutely hysterical.
They should play horseshoes with the halos.
That actually is a joke in there.
I should write this here. I've called like 3 things.
Well, it's the principal. She's the one that actually took it from her. Like, literally being a devil.
I wrote the series secretly.
Well, she can't find it. And ironic enough, she's a president of some club. And in her room, the light fixture has her halo. But she doesn't know. So the principal always come in like every once in a while and be like, all right, here, let me change your light bulb for you. That scene when it's happening, she's talking to the main guy and the vampire, pulls out the halo and just like waving around. She's tossing it around like a frisbee, using it as a horseshoe, puts it on herself, and she starts levitating and flying around and just starts like swirling it around and everything. And she just puts it back on and then just like, all right, I'm done. It's like, wow, that was fast. Just like, what the hell? Like, how could you do that? You're like, I took it just as a prank and I was going to give it back, but I completely forgot. It's like,
So she's a super ditz.
no, she's smart, but she's a devil. She threatened to destroy the world with a meteorite with her horns on it because she was hungry and nobody would feed her.
Wow.
Yeah.
So that's selfish.
Well, because it's just so freaking random with everything. She's like, if I don't get something sweet and tasty right now, I'm going to destroy the freaking world.
But she really means it.
She actually did. She had the meteorite and it actually came within grazing distance of the Earth. It's like, oh, shit.
We'll probably stop there for time.
Yeah, but it's... Oh, my God, that show is just so random, and I love it.
Yeah. Sounds fun.
It is hysterical.
Yeah. But, so yeah, that was just our recommendations. I know we kind of went over the place this time, as we do.
Yeah.
But it was fun.
Yep.
So hopefully you enjoyed or found a new series that might be interesting to you. And I guess we'll see you next time. This has been AniManKia. Keep it squirrely. We haven't done that in a while.
No, we haven't.
But keep it squirrely regardless.
Yeah. Bye.
Bye.